Am I wrong for not getting on a flight upon finding out that he put my kids in economy? So, my fiance has 3 kids from his former marriage while I have 2. I quit my job to start focusing on getting my degree. He's become the breadwinner, if you will, although I still contribute with my savings. I also do 80% of childcare and chores. Long story short, he wanted me and my kids to attend Thanksgiving dinner with his family, who are located across the country, and we were supposed to go yesterday. He booked our tickets and everything, but later, before the flight, I found out that he, his kids, and myself were put in first class, while my 2 kids, 14 and 10, were put in economy. I was stunned. He acted like it was no big deal and told us it's just a few hours and the kids could just hang in there for a little while. I asked how he could think that this was acceptable, and he got mad and said that he's the one paying for the tickets, then we go by his rules. I immediately turned around and took my kids and made my way out of the airport. He started following us, screaming at me to go back, but I refused and told him that I no longer felt like spending Thanksgiving with his folks after this. My youngest cried because she never flew without me. He went with his kids while me and the kids are home. He has not stopped calling, trying to berate me, and even had his mom text that I needed to get over myself and stop teaching my kids to be spoiled and entitled. She said that the fact that I was willing to miss Thanksgiving with the family over something so trivial shows my real character and personality and mindset, or lack of thereof. I have not replied, but I feel horrible. Am I the asshole? Should I have just let it slide and just went? In case I wasn't clear, me and the kids left our hometown so we could go celebrate with his family in his hometown. My kids weren't too excited leaving their grandparents for a week or so. Okay, she has an update. I'm currently getting myself and the kids packed so that we can go stay with my mother. This has happened before in other instances, but I kept thinking to myself, this is not right, but I have invested too much time and effort in this relationship, so maybe this shouldn't get in the way. And I tried to minimize most situations where I find my kids being put last. Not only that, but he tried to give me an ultimatum regarding getting my degree, and what was my response? This isn't right, but kept making light of it and letting go. Now he's probably badmouthing me to the whole family, and so is his mom, bless her effing heart. The kids and I are leaving. He'll be coming back to an empty home, except he'll find some company with the engagement ring that I took off and left on the nightstand. Distance and some reevaluation is needed right now. Thank you all who reached out with the helpful input and perspectives. You're right, my kids come first, and that's what I keep trying to do, and I hope I won't ever fail. Thank you so much for the support. I hate my twin sister because she lied to our family. I'll try to keep this short. I just want to get it out. My sister and I, 20 female, are twin sisters, almost identical, and she fucked me up completely. I'm what people would call the outgoing twin, while my sister is the shy one. We're as close as twins are, but my mom refused to treat or let anyone treat us as the same person, as we are not really glued to the hip. She has her group of friends and I have mine, and she's really into dating. It's not an attack, but it's important, and I'm really not. But because of the way we are, people believe I'm the one who's having fun and she just stays in her dorm all day, which is not true at all. Well, someone did a revenge porn on my sister and sent a video of her getting... Oh no, I can't. Well, someone did a revenge porn on my sister and sent a video of her getting by 2 guys to our dad, elder brother, and us with a fucked up message. The video wasn't taken directly on her face. You can tell it's one of us, but it's not close enough or HD enough to tell which. So the next day our parents asked to talk to us. Our elder brother is there too, and I'm like, okay, I'll let her talk since it's clearly not me and not my business. She tells them it's me. She fucking said it was me. I don't know why she lied though. Our parents didn't care at all. Like, they're more concerned about the way I don't know, since the video is hers, felt, and I wanted to proceed. I was stunned. I said it wasn't me, but my parents didn't believe me. They kept saying it was okay and that I was already an adult and that things happen and they won't shame me, that the one to blame are the ones sending the video and not me. My elder brother had to get them out of my face because I was on the verge of tears. I don't know what's worse, my sister lying with no reason or my parents not believing me. They left the room to talk to each other and I could only whisper to my brother that it wasn't me, and he said he believed me. He berated our sister in a low volume and she just sat there crying, saying sorry. Things are weird now. My sister said she panicked, and since the one in the video isn't me, I said I won't proceed, and if the video gets out, I'll scream my ass out saying it's not me. I don't even want to talk about how my parents are acting. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'll try to keep this short because I'm planning to go to the bar soon. My girlfriend just gave birth to our first child. I know that I'm not the biological father. I found out when she was about 6 months along. The guy, Brian, approached me at work. "Are you Sarah's boyfriend?" I said yeah and asked what he wanted. He said he was very sorry that he had slept with her and swore that he didn't know that she was with someone. I don't believe that. He then pulled out his phone to show the text between them. They had been sleeping together or linking up for the past year. Then she found out that she was pregnant, and they came to an agreement to just pretend that the baby was mine. In return, she wouldn't lose her perfect life and he wouldn't be responsible for a baby. I knew it was weird. We had been having problems trying for a baby, and all of a sudden she got pregnant so easily. But he explained that he had been thinking about it and he recently became a Christian. He said that he couldn't live his life knowing that I was living a lie while his child didn't know their real father. So yeah, I told him that I'd keep in touch and to not say that he said anything just yet. I've had a lot of time to think about it, but ultimately I decided that I wanted to wait until she gave birth, to hurt her in her most vulnerable moment. I'll spare the details, but she went into labor. Baby was born and was taken to the NICU to be monitored for a bit. What should have been a beautiful moment of me holding my baby was the most heartbreaking time of my life. Just knowing that he was not mine hurt me. Once she was all sewn up and comfortable, I started packing up my stuff to leave. She asked where I was going and I just told her. I know I'm not baby's name's father. You can act all shocked, but I know. Just ask Brian to come. I'm positive he'll sign the birth certificate. She's been calling my phone over and over and has even got her sister to call me a few times. It was hard pretending these last few months, but I think that I'm satisfied. I feel really heartbroken though. I was planning on proposing to her the day our baby was born. I was gonna make her the happiest woman ever. Oh well, I'm going to go get shit-faced now. First, let me start by saying that I love my sister. I understand that she's not responsible for her actions, and I don't want to see anyone bad-mouthing her in the comments. I, 24 female, have been married to my husband, 23 male, for 2 years now, dating for 4. After the first Christmas he spent with me and my family, I did my best to avoid spending the holidays with them. We usually make the excuse that my husband is an only child and go visit his parents. When my sister, 30 female, was 17 years old, she was in a horrific car accident. She was in a coma for 3 weeks, spent months in physical and speech therapy, and worst of all, ended up suffering what the doctors say is hypersexuality. I won't get into details, but some of her behaviors are not suited for the public, and they are not voluntary. The doctors tried multiple meds and she's still in therapy, but nothing seems to work. It cost my sister almost all of her friends, multiple jobs, and she's unable to have meaningful relationships so far. The thing is, whenever my husband visits, it seems to get worse. My husband is attractive, and it's obvious that she's attracted to him. Neither of us blames her for that. But if we spend any extended period with her, things become very uncomfortable. This year, my in-laws are going to be in Europe during Christmas, so my parents were very excited thinking that we'll be able to spend it with them. I ended up telling them that we'd be spending it on our own, but that I will be visiting Christmas Day for a couple hours. They were upset, kept insisting to know why we avoid them. I finally said that we don't want to spend the whole holiday trying to redirect my sister's behavior, or trying to dispel the awkwardness when we couldn't. That's when they called me an ableist a-hole. Then they went and told my sister what I said. And now she's crying, saying that I was just like everyone else, that I was also slut-shaming her, even though I know she doesn't do it on purpose. So, am I in the wrong for refusing to spend Christmas with my family because my sister will be there?
Storytime about how my mother-in-law accused me of cheating on her son. Disclaimer, it's not my storytime, it's not on my Instagram. My evil mother-in-law is the worst of the worst. The moment I started dating her perfect little son, she would make judgmental comments on my body, and if I was ever in the kitchen cooking, she would be there to try to criticize everything that I would do. When my husband and I finally got pregnant, she pretended to be happy. I could see deep down inside she was hating the fact that I was pregnant. I think she always had the hope that he would leave me. But let me give you some background info on my husband. This man is lucky to be with me. Not only am I a 12, I am so kind and caring to him, and I have way too much patience for him. Whereas my mother-in-law thinks that he's the one lucky to be with me. First off, I make way more money than my husband, so I'm the one paying for most of the bills. But guess what? My husband asked me not to tell his mom about that because he'd be embarrassed. He also doesn't know how to cook or clean. And guess why? Because his mother did everything for him growing up. So I'm the one that has to cook, clean, and pay for the bills. A few months ago, I asked my husband for a divorce. He ran over to his mom's house and tried to get her to convince me not to. But guess what? His mom called me and told me that she'd convince him to give me a divorce. Part 2 is up. Storytime about how my mother-in-law accused me of cheating on her son. Disclaimer, it's not my story time, it's sent me on Instagram. So instead of her trying to convince me not to leave him, she told me that she would convince my husband to break up with me. This was all for my benefit because I was the one that wanted a divorce. But 2 weeks later, I find out I'm pregnant. At the time, we were still living in the same house, but we weren't really talking. So I finally went up to him and told him that I was pregnant. He was so happy. You think he even gave me a hug or a kiss? No, he picked up the phone and called his mother right away. He called her on speaker and I could hear what she was saying. And as soon as he told her, she said, "It's probably not your kid." How could I have not seen this coming? At this point, she thought we were gonna get a divorce. So me having a kid was the worst case scenario for her. Right away, she told him to kick me out of the house. The house that I pay for. That's when I grabbed the phone from him and I started telling her everything. First off, I told her that I paid for all the bills and that her son made only $200 a week from his stupid gaming thing and that he wasn't even bothering to look for another job. And then on top of paying for the bills, I still had to cook and clean. And I asked her, "Do you really think this is the kind of man I want to have a kid with?" She had no response. That's when she hung up the phone and told my husband to go over to her house. Part 3 is up. Storytime about how my mother-in-law accused me of cheating on her son. Disclaimer, is not my storytime, it's not me on Instagram. When I broke the news to her that he didn't pay for any of the bills and that I was paying for the house, she literally lost her shit. My husband hung up the phone and told me that he would never speak to me again. God, if only that were true. Then he goes over to his mom's house and guess what? An hour later, he demands I go over to her house to apologize to his mother. I said that I would, but instead, I went over there and told her some more truths. I ended up telling her that her son told me not to tell her that he didn't make any money, and that the whole time he and I were together, she thought thought that he was paying for all the bills. Then I said, aren't you embarrassed that your son is like that? That's when she told me the only way she would accept my child was with a paternity test. Am I supposed to do that with the baby in my belly? Finally, the baby was born and I was able to prove that it was his son. My husband wants us to stay together, but his mom keeps criticizing me. Every time she sees the kid, she says it doesn't look like my husband, even though I already proved that it was his. I think that I should get a divorce. I'm afraid my mother-in-law might do something to the baby. My husband thinks I'm just overreacting. What should I do?
Am I the asshole for calling my wife ridiculous for saying she won't attend my family's Christmas over stockings? So my mom has a tradition for every Christmas, and that is to get custom stockings of her grandchildren's names. And then of course she hangs them near the fireplace. My wife and I have been together for 3 years, and she has a son, my stepkid, from her former marriage. When she found out about that tradition, she said she expects my stepson to get his own stocking and be hanged along with the other kids' stockings. I asked my mom, and she said she loves her step-grandchild but doesn't feel comfortable yet to have a stocking of his name. And apparently my wife refused to drop it and chose it as a hill to die on.